مرحبا. I'm Rihab El-HELOU from Byblos, Lebanon, the land and the pillar of the Phoenician alphabet, and welcome to the series of recorded lectures on the Phoenician Alphabet Hidden Mysteries, in which I'll be giving you an overview of three of my published books related to the Phoenician alphabet. So, yalla, let's begin. Historians, in the forefront of which Herodotus, testify that the Phoenicians created and disseminated the alphabet, and that they taught it to the Greeks and to other civilizations of the world contemporary to them. The Phoenicians, through the development of their alphabet, established a fundamental basis in the construction of human civilization. This magic tool made humanity replace the thousands of complex images and symbols in the transmission of ideas and equations with a remarkable alphabet of 22 symbols. Over the course of these videos, we are going to see that the symbols of the Phoenician alphabet are not merely verbal and formative forms, but they are symbols of an intellectual, spiritual, physical, and temporal nature and purpose. The Phoenicians, by their geographical location, have formed a link between the civilizations of Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, Greece, and Persia, whose beliefs have intertwined either through trade relations or through the successive wars that led to the tyranny of beliefs against others. In this environment, we find that Ishtar, Inanna, the Mesopotamian goddess, is equated with Isis Hathor, the Egyptian, with Astarte, Ashtarut, Tanith, Qadish, the Phoenician, with Aphrodite, the Greek goddess, and with Venus, the Roman goddess of love and beauty. Likewise, Marduk, Nimrod, Hadad, Adad, Rumman, Ishkur, Fidar of Mesopotamia is similar to Osiris, Azar, Asi, the Egyptian, assimilated to Naaman, the Phoenician, and to Adonis in Greek and Roman mythologies. While the Mesopotamian sun Tammuz or Dumuzi, whose cult was merged with the cult of Jibid, is very similar to Horus Har-Hra, the Egyptian, to Horsaf Melqart, Rashaf Habulun, the Phoenician, and to Apollo Eros, the Greek. And that Nabu, the god of writing in Mesopotamia, is identified with Thoth the Egyptian, known to the Phoenicians as Qadmus Eshmuntet, to the Greeks as Hermes, and to the Romans as Mercury. This with slight differences for adjustment, depending on the characteristics of each culture, with a margin allowing the development of these beliefs in terms of the methods of worship and times of prayer, and in terms of the methods of chanting, hymnals, supplications, and vows. This era of history, in which the alphabet was developed, was distinguished by adoration and religiosity among the Phoenicians, and this is indicated by the large number of places of worship whose ruins are still visible to this day, and where the names of Lebanese villages and towns safeguard the names of the gods worshipped by the Phoenicians and by the inhabitants of the land of the Phoenicians. They have tamed their alphabet to serve their intellectual, spiritual, practical, and scientific goals and concerns, whether commercial, industrial, geometric, musical, or medical. We will see together the maze of the Phoenician alphabet, and we will search for its hidden patterns based on Phoenician mythology, on the etymology of the names inherent in this alphabet, and on their numerical and arithmetic values. We will try together to dissect the syllables of the letters names of this alphabet in order to access its most hidden meanings and purposes, and to clarify the purposes of its authors by demonstrating that each letter of the Phoenician alphabet corresponds to a constellation as shown in this diagram extracted from my book entitled La musicothérapie du Levant à la lumière de l'alphabet phénicien. This diagram can be considered as a Phoenician zodiac circle illustrating the letters of the Phoenician alphabet and the constellation corresponding to each letter. And as we move on through the series of lectures, we'll know why and how we noticed that each Phoenician alphabet letter corresponds to a particular constellation or star. We will also conclude that the Phoenician alphabet, in addition to being a clock which regulates the daily time of the Phoenicians and their times of prayer, which organizes their work and their journeys, and which helps them to measure distances and to observe the appearance of the stars in specific months and periods, this alphabet is also the code of a sacred book which tells the daily journey of the sun and that holds the secret of the return of the phoenix. This alphabet is the code of a sacred book which tells the steps of the dismemberment of Osiris, the quest of Isis, and the reassembly or the rememberment of the divinity's body from the Phoenician perspective. In other words, the rebirth, myth, and revival of Osiris, whose heroes are Osiris, Adonis, Naaman, Isis, Astari, Ashtarut, Horus, Horsaf, Apollon, Rashaf, Mekart, Tot, Qadmus, Ashmun, and Het, Thes, Typhon. Thus, each letter of this alphabet is the title of a chapter in this book, highlighting a stage of the sacred story in which the Phoenicians believed at the time when they developed their alphabet. So this was our introductory lecture, and in the coming videos we will study together the features of each letter of the Phoenician alphabet.